In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Kryptonite Show. Your host Superman in the house, and man, we have got probably one of the big interviews I've always wanted to do, and that is with Crypto Coffee. I would argue probably the biggest Pulse Chain influencer on the planet, and I think he's done a great job representing Pulse Chain, and I'm really looking forward to interviewing him. I hope you guys enjoy this as well. Without further ado, let's bring him up and bring Crypto Coffee online. So, hey, Crypto Coffee, good to see you.
Thanks for having me. Nice chat we
And
got here.
as I was saying you offline, I was saying you never seem to age, and you got that youthful glow with you. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thanks. I try to stay up to date on the longevity research. Honestly, getting sleep and sunlight and going outside. Uh, if you don't have to drink, don't do it. It's
Yeah,
pretty simple.
you probably also got a bit of probably a big fast line to Aubrey de Grey there with the secret sources.
I don't think Aubrey de Grey has a fast line to Aubrey de Grey. Have you seen the way that?
That's true.
I
That's
think,
true. Hey,
yeah.
it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Like I say in the intro, you've been absolutely amazing over the years on Pulse Chain, a real true ambassador. And so it's really great to have you on the show. And I know that you've recently been traveling, and you're back in the United States now. So how's things going on the way back from your holiday?
Oh, good. It was just yeah, still trying to pump out content. Honestly, it was one of those trips where you're like, I was just thinking about working the whole time. I never really had
Yeah,
any downtime. So, I mean, now is the time to be grinding, right? And I
yeah,
feel most comfortable personally when I'm just like making content or marketing or figuring out something productive to be doing because I feel like it's calm before the storm, but it's not the time to be giving up. Like, it's the time to be building. So.
yeah. That's exciting. Now, you said mentioned earlier that you're on the Pulse Chain conference yesterday. How'd that go? And the vibe over there on RH Max's
Yeah,
conference?
it was good. I'm glad to see RH Max starting his own conference, taking the initiative. Anybody
Mm,
can really do whatever they want, you know.
yeah,
You can just
yeah,
do things, and so it was nice to see kind of a cohesive. It was just unity between everybody in a positive environment. There's a lot of
yeah,
anger, depression. At this point, I think most of the anger has just turned into depression, and a lot of people have just they're not even here. There's
yeah,
nothing to say. Like
yeah,
we wake up every day, we're still wrecked. What new can we possibly say
yeah,
other
yeah,
than hey, we're all in this together, and these dark times are only temporary. But that's the kind of vibe that the conference gave me. Hopefully, other people can commiserate together and realize that maybe there's light on the other side of the tunnel.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I just saw a little bit of it earlier today on the day two, and it was a really beautiful setup for the conference. I thought RH Max did a really great job, and to get people like yourself out there straight out of the gun on the first day was a really great move. And there's definitely a bunch of great people on there from the community, talking about their projects, how they're feeling, and all that sort of stuff. And hey, look, I've sensed on this show the last couple of weeks in particular a real turning, real positivity change, and we just keep winning in particularly last week. It's just like win, 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 win. So I'm pretty excited about where we're heading. And today, of course, I did a show earlier covering Richard Hart launch, announcements around the SEC and things like that, and also about potentially doing a video. You got any thoughts on that? Because that's pretty damn exciting from my point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost think that maybe he's recording it as we speak. Who knows?
Yeah,
He's seeming pretty set on it. It seems like he's back. It seems like he's finally unburdened by what has been, unshackled.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It seems like the vibe, the tables are turning, and
yeah,
maybe he
yeah,
can finally do what he's wanted to do.
yeah,
Maybe he can finally start marketing in the way that however he sees fit, whether
yeah.
it's just
Free.
throwing marketing dollars around or getting out there, showing his face again. I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
Interpol still has to get cleared up, but
yeah.
yeah, we won. He beat the SEC, and
Mm,
then the SEC appealed for more time or filed for more time. He beat him again.
Yeah.
And just today, the judge ordered the clerk to write it down on paper, make it official.
Yeah. Close it.
And Hex, Pulse, and PulseX have regulatory clarity, and no other cryptocurrencies besides maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe Ripple.
Yeah.
We're the only group ecosystem of currencies that's on a basis of regulatory certainty.
Mm.
And it's a big deal. We've seen the news sources. Some of the news outlets are starting to actually report it honestly. Now we can chill in peace. We can chill without fear.
Yeah.
Marketing, promoting is a better word than shilling. But we don't have to be afraid to talk about something. And if somebody ever brings up the SEC, it's like, yeah, the SEC case that we won. It's
Yeah,
not a boogeyman anymore.
Yeah. And that really opens up new people, new capital flowing onto Pulse Chain, new projects, new opportunities, new development. I mean, it really is a long list of opportunities coming up. And Richard Hart was talking about that in his post today about moving on to greatness and opening up new opportunities. And you've brought a new opportunity to Pulse Chain recently, of course, with TopHat, which we're going to talk about. So it's really, really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Launching meme coins at the bottom of the bear.
Yeah, that's what you do. You get the timing. It's all about timing.
Hey, if you launch at the bottom, then the only way to go is up, right?
Goes up. That's right. Yeah. And,
but hey, I've been pretty certain it was the bottom multiple times now, and I've been wrong. So
yeah.
it just
Hey, you
keeps
never
fucking
know.
dipping.
Maybe Richard sends you in the mail his TopHat. Maybe he sends you that from the old castle there.
Not sure
Maybe
if
he's
I
got it
want that
boxed up.
sweaty old top hat.
So you've been around forever, pretty much following Richard. You probably remember when he was originally live streaming with his TopHat, all that sort of stuff. How did that influence you? Getting into Pulse Chain Hex and other things like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, for people that really remember the OG days, it's like he was wearing a top hat in these videos where he was doing more self-help content, and it was pre-douchebaggery. It was pre-Gucci suit and Rolexes and like outrage marketing.
Yeah.
Felt like he kind of got a sense of, oh, this is just a guy that wants to get his message out there, wants to help the world, be better in all aspects of life or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when he leaned into the outrage marketing, Richard, I think a lot of people kind of turned on him as if they didn't turn on him already.
Yeah.
They turned on him as soon as he stopped becoming a Bitcoin maximalist and decided to make his own currency. That was what kind of tainted his reputation, was honestly toxic maxis. Just he was one of us, and now he's not. And so I saw very few people kind of defending him in the early days. But yeah, the top hat Richard was a guy that I kind of I was just kind of aligned with. I kind of felt like, oh, this is just a regular person with good intentions. And luckily, a lot of other people saw that too, because when we started talking about it on the internet, the community that formed was pretty diehard, and it was a pretty, some people call it a cult. It was a very passionate community that luckily all realized kind of the same thing that I did, that like, oh, this is actually not a scam. It's just some guy that kind of looks like a scammer, kind of looks like a Willy Wonka character, more ambiguous. But at the end of the day, I think what he's trying to do is a vision beyond what most people can comprehend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we've had a huge history with him, and I always like to flash back a little bit because, we've had some pretty awesome moments. I'm thinking about all his build up to launching Hex. Then the launch of the AA lobby, the first day was absolutely exciting, absolutely explosive.
Oh, you remember that?
Yeah. And people, he said, don't FOMO into the AA
Did
lobby.
you?
Once everyone does, I FOMO, everyone does. Everyone's like jumping in there. And so everyone gets in there, and it's just like so exciting. Then he does a 7-hour live stream, for goodness sake, which was just on top of that, which was pretty awesome. And that was a great time. Then we had the Hex Gold Whale do the big pump. I think it was about April or something of that year, 2020 or something. Then we had the big payday in November. I mean, it was exciting too, with the staking and the OA, staking up to like 90, 98% or something. It was crazy times. We had so many moments, like, moving forward. And then, of course, 2021 was just magical with the Hex pump, the 10,000X and so on. And, of course, you've seen all this. You've been part of all that. How's that feel to you? And, of course, Hexologist was out there streaming and lots of other people out there. It was good times,
man. You just took me down a trip down memory lane. I almost forget some of those times. We forget how good things used to be. And even during the so-called good times, it was still a difficult uphill battle, slaying all the haters and dealing with all the
Mm.
bullshit. And
Yeah.
there was never really a time where you didn't have opposition. But I think it's really just how you handle it or how you view it. If you view these things as like a challenge to overcome versus as some self-victimizing attitude of, oh, it's all so terrible, it's happening to me, there's
Mm.
nothing I can do. It's like, well, there is a lot we could do, and there's a lot we have done, and we should be pretty proud of how far we've come.
Yeah.
All the
Absolutely.
people that kind of stood up to all the antagonism, all of the, we're really like the underdog here. And it almost feels like we're on the cusp of another epic reversal. I don't want to say that. I'm so tired of saying that it almost proves to myself that I'm in my own depression and denial phase. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
so bullish for
That's
so
really
long.
that's an interesting reflection, but yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But it's also like I say, back then, people were against the old hex. They were like, "Oh, that's never going to be able to do pump. You're never going to be pumping," and of course, it just proved everyone wrong, right? That's the thing. And I just feel like we're almost in that sort of magical phase right now. We're going from this depression to suddenly, actually, I can start seeing the light here. It's starting to break through. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Now the other thing is that we've had some pretty interesting players in the game as well. From Hex Gold Wow, from Rack and Michelle and the people like that out there. They've certainly been lots to talk about as we're moving forward. The old Saudis and all the rest of that stuff. But now we're getting into the point where Richard's out today. I bet the SEC. Now it's time to move to greatness. We've got new opportunities. I really just love that pivot. And I'm very excited about it. And of course, we're doing what we can here to help that as well on Pulse Chain. But yeah, you've actually gone a step further than what we've done. You've done so many things in Pulse Chain, and now of course you got this new TopHat token. And I just wonder whether you want to talk a bit about that and what made you launch that, all that sort of stuff. Let us drop the alpha on that one.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's just a meme coin, right? Richard kind of is encouraging everybody to use Pump.tires. This meme coin
Hmm.
was launched on Pump.tires, but in a stealthy way. I did a stealth launch because I'm honestly new to all this, and we're gonna see how high this can pump just based on my efforts, my following, and whoever wants to join along for the ride. We pumped 10x in a single day, but it was a stealth launch, and I think some people are upset thinking it's going to be some rug pull, right? But what you got to realize is how that worked was essentially you buy the price up with coins that you don't intend on ever dumping in order to get out the initial snipers and jeets. Now, now, I attempted that, and unfortunately, some other random people who knows who they are
Yeah.
just probably saw the chart going up and were able to buy a little bag, before the rest of the community. But that's what happens when you've got a coin that's public and you've got a whole entire ecosystem of traders out there.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily stop someone from noticing this coin. So, it's as fair as I could try to make it. I thought it was kind of better than launching everyone for themselves. I'd rather have one massive holder with diamond hands that gets to use that for good.
Yeah.
It is funny to me when people think they might assume that, oh, I need to rug the community or something because I'm broke or something like that. They're probably projecting their own
Hmm.
poor mental state onto me. Like I do not give a shit about rugging this coin at all. I want to see it go
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So you can believe me or not, and some people are just going to cry
Oh, I
about it.
believe you. I believe you. I
No,
know.
no, I mean,
I've watched you for years. Yeah, I'm just saying. I believe you. I've watched you for years, and I know that you've been a guy of integrity in the Pulse chain, and you've not only that, but been just an incredible ambassador. Honestly, you've been pretty amazing on that. So
oh,
yeah,
thanks.
I'm really bullish about it. I think it's great. Great that you've done it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, and look, in the all-time low of sentiment, we had a 10x candle overnight.
Mm.
Obviously, that got sold off maybe 20, 30, 40% now. Who knows where we're at? We were up 20% today.
Well, let's
There
have a
might be
quick
some
look.
surprises.
Let's quickly migrate. Here we go. So this is your chart at the moment. Looks pretty good to me. I don't know.
Not terrible, yeah. Well, you're on log, which is doing it a little bit of a favor.
Favor there, yeah. But
On
flipping
linear,
from
on
you.
linear, it doesn't. It might be a little different.
Yeah.
Still, peak all-time low sentiment. Did a 10x. The people that believed and that didn't doubt, they got in early.
Yeah.
We're just gonna see. there are some plans. I can't just like play all my cards right now, but like we do want to launch certain things related to TopHat to make it fun.
Yeah.
I do want to target other communities if I can, and it's kind of, I figure not the worst idea to have a coin that doesn't have the Richard Hart stigma associated with it, where people say, oh, well, there was no sacrifice, or there was no, it's just a meme coin, so maybe I have more of a fair chance. It's lower liquidity, which everybody knows means more pumpable. With only 50K of buy-side liquidity, if $500,000 net buy pressure came in, this thing would pump another 100x.
Yeah.
So, all I can say is if we did a 10x in these conditions, imagine what it could do when the markets actually come back. And it's kind of fun for me just to have my own coin, see how high it can go. But also just have to some degree have a Trojan horse to infiltrate other communities, but to some degree also just have like a reward for people that believe in me. And look, it is going to go up and down. And like when it does go down, it's nobody to blame but the Jeets, like I know it's not me. I know it's not me selling.
Yeah.
So
it's just, look, it's a fair opportunity, right? Fair opportunity.
Fair game for all. Some people think a dip is a buying opportunity.
Yeah.
It's just a meme coin, right? Like, let's not take everything so seriously, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to claim this has some crazy properties to it. I'm just trying to make crypto fun. If you want to degen and gamble, this is for that sector of the internet that likes that. Mm-hmm. Some people get into crypto because their gateway drug is meme coins, and then maybe they find Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulse X. But saying the same old stuff about Hex for the last 3 years didn't seem to make the price go up, did it? So
that's great. That's great. Yes,
so
yes, I know that.
I think we've said everything we possibly could about Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulse X.
Yeah.
From every angle, talking about every value proposition and every cool feature they have. Mm. And ultimately, the bear market dominated, and the prices went down and sideways for the last 2 years. Yeah. So let's try something new. And, everyone should probably try to create their own meme coin. You could say, oh, no, it fractures liquidity, sure. But I also believe that it keeps people sticky. It keeps people stuck on the chain when they have to buy PLS to play in the meme coin casino.
Yeah.
Typically when they rotate their money around, they're at least not selling for dollars. They're selling for the next meme coin. So
yeah, that's
for all those reasons, I think it's just something to do. And let's see how high we can pump this thing.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, man. And I think it's, I've been talking about this privately with others, saying as crypto copy going to, launch a token because this kind of made sense. And I'm so glad that you have done it. And yeah, like you say, don't take it too seriously, but let's see where we can go from here.
Everybody thought it was going to be coffee coin, right? I was like, yeah. It can't be that obvious. Come on. Can't be.
Hey, look, I love coffee, but TopHat's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Well, it's kind of a nod to the OG stuff too.
So I think we got. Is this a pump tires? How did you launch this? Is this a separate?
Yeah,
contract?
it was launched at pump tires, so it's no inflation, just an even 1 billion tokens. Yep.
I see you got 1,100 holders so far, which is a fantastic start. Yeah.
Well, it was airdropped also to best holders. So we started off with like 900 holders or so that were all just best holders on the snapshot date. It was like end of March, I think, that airdrop went out. Yeah. And fun fact, there's been a lot of TopHat burned as well. There's been maybe like 10% of the supply burned, and some people just don't care. Some wallets might just want to watch the world burn, just for funsies. Yeah. So
burn, baby, burn.
Burning is one thing. We've tied some liquidity to the UFO token as well, just in case UFO or PTGC decide to pump.
That's a smart move. Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah.
And we'll see what else we can do. We'll see if we can collaborate with some communities outside of Pulse Chain, because that's kind of what I've got my eyes on now. It's just we need new people. Yep. We need new things to talk about, and some new people might not want to hear about Hex. Maybe they'll want to hear about some meme coin on Pulse Chain instead.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think it's awesome, and I actually pretty optimistic about where it might go. Like, obviously, there's up and downs in the charts, but yeah, what a great start so far. 1,100 holders. Price chart looks pretty healthy, even on log. And yeah, TopHat. It's a tribute to Richard Hart, right? So I like that.
You can discount those first 3 candles as just like it's trying to establish the floor and shake out the beats, basically.
Yeah. Basically, the launch is kind of like back here, right, on the 2nd of May, really.
Yeah. I mean, of course, some people, like I said, randos got in, in that
Yeah,
month
yeah,
and a half. I don't know who it was, right? But it's like
yeah.
if somebody bought $100 of it, like you can't really help that from happening.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, it's the old play on pump tires too. You get that same thing on pump tires. You get a lot of bots and stuff, but then when you also launch it and it migrates to PulseX, you get a bit of that happening too.
Yeah,
Very
you
very
got
cool.
sniper bots no matter what. That's the hard thing about launching this stuff on pump tires is like you need to get those snipers out because they could have an outsized position early.
Yeah, that's right. And normally they do get out after like 3 minutes if nothing's happening to the token. if they
A
manage
lot of
to
the
pick one
charts
up.
look the same, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, you
Now
got
I
a
just
pretty nice tip over there, dude.
Oh really? Oh, let's check it out. Yeah, let's get into the chat. So we got Blair in the house there. Hey Blair, good to see you. Let's go, 100%. We got Free S as well. Shout out to you. We got Anita. Hi Legends. That's an Aussie term, no doubt. Good on them. Yeah, absolutely on crypto copy there. We got hit the likes and let's get this out there. Says Wookie. We got what else do we got? That would be fantastic if he did a stream. The old Richards. Yeah, he won. He definitely did win the SEC case there, Wookie. You're not the only one to get the bottom call wrong. Not sure if anyone else came close. I'm not sure what that's regarding, but what else? We got Funkmaster in the house there. Hey, fellas. Good to see you, Funkmaster. Yeah, I could do with a nice cool beer as well. It makes me feel a bit thirsty. But we got Anita says, I was watching, but only able to invest in 2023. And what else there? Yeah, so we've got new people coming in. Wookie says you have to have been positive. You've always been so positive. That's true. That's true.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Wookie.
I do think you do a fantastic job, and everyone in my Discord and everyone else thinks that too. So, big shout out there to you, Coffee, on that one. We got good old Tinder in there with the Treasury token, earning EHEX and PX, delivering. And what else? We got the HH in the house there. You are both men of integrity. I've watched both of you for a couple of years. So there we go. That's a nice one there, HH. Crypto Stylus in the house. Hey, Crypto Stylus. Always a pleasure watching Crypto Stylus on the chat. Copy is such an asset to our community, 100%. That's why it's I've been wanting to get on the show for ages, and I've been obviously following you, and you really do a great job. We got HH in there with the super sticker there. Thanks for covering the latest news. It's HH. A big shout out to you. Appreciate that. Jesse James, the investment is worth it when you make when you know the make is trustworthy. And copy says Jesse James. There we go. Meet the people.
Yeah.
Definitely smash the likes on the way in. We got a big super sticker there from Jesse James. Thank you all. Thanks for all you do, Superman. A big shout there, Jesse James. Appreciate that. And thank you so much for that one. What else there? We got Hexhound as well. Let's light that fire, 100%. Hey, look, I think the fire has been lit, man. It's really looking bullish now. And Steve Wright says, what a great stream. So glad to be listening. And finally, they're ultra bullish there. Let's go. A big shout out to Jesse James and, of course, H8 for the super stickers. Much love and much appreciated there for sure. Anita says, I'm trying to boost the algorithm for eyeballs. Get out there, spread the word. In fact, we're actually on X. I've got to make sure I actually stream that off, repost that too. So let's do that now. If you guys want to repost, definitely hit the link there and repost the show on X. If you're on Rumble, if you're on Discord, if you're on YouTube as well, definitely get that out as well. Repost the show. That is the link right there on X. Looking good. Pretty cool. Now, I want to get your comments on this next thing, Copy, because I think this is really a telling sign of where things are heading. And so let's pull this up, and let's get your views on this one. So here we are, Richard Hart here. Let's just shift us down, maybe shift you over to the right there. There's a bit of movie magic. And Richard Hart there. Should I record a video right now? What's your thoughts?
I'd reckon he's probably recording it right now.
Right now.
If I had to guess. He's just posting about cameras and camera equipment, and he kind of went MIA for the last hour, huh? Doesn't it seem like he might be recording a video?
Yeah.
That'd be great to see. I think everybody would be pretty stoked. I know everybody wants a live stream. Interacting with your audience probably resonates more, builds more hype. But come on, Interpol is still going after him. There's a risk to live streaming where you probably reveal your location, your IP address, stuff like that. Maybe he's just waiting until all that gets cleared up, but it's kind of hard. It's probably super hard for Richard to have just beaten the SEC and not come on and brag about it. I mean, I'd be running around my house, I'd be screaming like it's like his Super Bowl. He won.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we
And
have that down here, right? We posted that with the old judgment there. I have defeated the SEC in court. I love that. It's almost like he's got a sledgehammer and go. It's like
something no cryptocurrency has ever done. Yes, that's true. It's true. No cryptocurrencies were specifically called out other than Ripple, and Ripple got kind of like a half win, but this case, the software got called out as a defendant, which is very unique and
weird. It was weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, like I say, it's a lot of stress too, right? To have something like the SEC after you, it's a big deal. And he sort of, it just shows you his character. He held up against that, and he had a plan. And I think it was a pretty exciting. And of course, let's go right back to Hex. Actually, when he did the audits and he had a legal opinion about the Howey test and all that way back then. And here we are today, actually defeating the SEC in court, which is absolutely huge. Yeah,
I like to imagine Richard probably helped out the lawyers just as much as they helped him out. Like they would probably collaborate. He probably put his kind of legal hat on, and you remember him posting about all the case law that was maybe relative to his case and potentially helpful for other cases. Yeah. I mean, Quinn Emanuel is probably like, "Holy shit, who is this guy?"
Yeah. Look, it was fantastic, and I like to celebrate these things because I think it's easy just to say, "Hey, we won," and move on. But actually, this is a big landmark. And actually, also around blockchain and free speech to some degree as well, right? All those sort of themes that Richard's been passionate about. And here, of course, kicking in this, and then taking on Pulse Chain and Pulse. I mean, it was just madness, that sort of argument. But, Richard got that smacked down, which is really super exciting. Yeah.
No help at all from the industry.
No, crickets, right?
Yeah, a couple of us made an amicus brief, and we all signed a petition, but that was the Pulse Chain community, not the industry at large.
Yeah. So, it's pretty crazy stuff. Massive victory for Richard, and I'm sure he's feeling good about that. And I'm sure they're going to, deal. I saw Rack and Michelle posting about something about the Interpol, being managed, and so we hope we'll get some good news around that too. And some of those.
What did you say about that?
He basically said something's in the pipeline. I'll try and pull it up actually while we're here.
Perfect.
Let's see if we can pull that up. There's a response to somebody. Let me see here. Scroll back down here a bit here as well. He's been pretty active, these days, Rack and Michelle. So let's see. Yeah, this is the one here. So let me just pull this up. We'll jump back into that other view. So someone here, Moody, says, if you can find some way to resolve the Interpol nonsense, you'd be championed as a hero. That's talking to Rack and Michelle, and he says it's underway as we speak. So there we go. That's Rack and Michelle there.
Lovely.
So pretty bullish.
Yeah, I believe it too.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say, I always say, Richard's kind of, as a founder, influencer, obviously hasn't done stream for a long time, but his engagement's higher than anybody else I can think of, right? It's just incredible. He's had 80,000 views on that post already inside 3.5 hours or so. It really is incredible, and I always say, for me, he is the guy, the rebel, really rebel fighting for truth. It's a bit like a Robin Hood in some ways, trying to fight for good, and all these other heroes that we can think of, it's been pretty nice.
Robbing the rich, giving to the poor.
Yeah. And, we got Reckham out there. He's doing a lot of stuff. It's like social media. He's doing a PR thing. I'm not sure if you've seen that recently, but with the PR web.
Yeah, I did see that. That'll be nice. It's always good to have some reputation management. We need the cleanup crew to come in and, give the SEO algorithm on Google a good name to Richard.
Reaching out to Binance. I mean, he's really all over there. So it's really great support from, some of the big whales on the chain, for sure. Now, if we got any questions, should we answer a few questions, Coffee? If there's anyone,
sounds good to me.
Yeah, if you guys got some questions out there, I think we've got about 150 people watching. So if you've got any questions, get them in the chat there. Take the opportunity to ask Coffee some questions for sure. Let's see here, ultra bullish. Let's go. I love that. And Anita, I'm trying to boost the algorithm. Yeah, like I said earlier, let's go with that. because if you guys haven't reposted the show, you smashed it out. Wookie says, your timing may be spot on, Coffee, if RH is coming back with the old token. Hexhound there, the community was united, and it is one hell of a ride, says Hexhound. What else there? Someone needs to turn it into an NFT. Yeah, what do you think about the NFT markets? We've got about 7 or 8 NFT marketplaces on Pulse Chain. How do you feel that's going? Because they kind of had a big hurrah at the beginning. I covered a lot of them. And then there hasn't been a lot of activity, generally speaking, apart from maybe the Mafia NFT marketplace. What's your view on that on Pulse Chain?
Well, there's all kinds of NFTs. We got the Mafia gaming NFTs. We've got things like financial LP token NFTs. You've got wrapped hex stake NFTs. Certain artists have sent me a lot of their artwork in the form of NFTs. My wallet's always got these random, really cool looking NFTs, but I don't really go out and shop for them a whole lot. I've bought a couple from Slimewhale.io. I thought what he built was pretty cool looking, and he made a cool game to go with it. Look, I don't think the market for them is the same as it was in 2021 with the speculation bubble, but I do think it's a good way to just respect, kind of pay homage to an artist that you like, or to monetize your art in a creative way among a community that you've built. It's all these different platforms, Mintra, Beatbox, Pulse Market. They're all great ways to find, even Tesseract. I got to mention Tesseract from Psy. And he's got an NFT collection called Heart Heads. You've got Heart Army, I think, is another collection.
Yeah, Heart Army,
Yeah, I haven't. There was even Pulse Wars, which was like an NFT battle application from this guy, Ali Kane.
Ali Kane is awesome.
Prize money. Yeah, the prize money was a couple billion PLS or something. So people had these good ideas, but there hasn't been enough. I mean, I haven't seen like anything go truly viral yet. Pulse Mafia is very cool because it's multi-chain and it's a game that you buy these NFT crates and they give you random bonuses and power-ups and such. But we have yet to really see things take off. We're just in that building. It's like that early internet phase where everyone's trying to come up with the next sticky thing. And there's a lot of cool creative ideas out there, but I guess when it comes to like monetizing and making a ton of money, like I haven't seen anything explosive yet. The keyword is yet. A lot of this stuff can just take time.
Yeah, and it's I guess the where we are in the cycle at the moment as well, particularly for Pulse Chain. But yeah, we had quite a hurrah at the beginning. I interviewed quite a few NFT marketplace founders, and they had kind of hurrah, but it has fallen off pretty big with the exclusion of Mafia. But even Mafia's markets have calmed down now. But they're ramping up for their game launch soon, so hopefully they'll get there and it will pick up too. We also got Onizika in the house there. I don't know if you know Onizika, but Onizika is a terrific artist, and it's great to have you in the house, Onizika.
I just followed this guy.
He's one of the best out there. His graphics are amazing, so big shout out to him.
How do you spell that?
Onizuka, Mr. Onizika.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So he's really terrific with artwork for gifts and other things like that. Amazing stuff. How's your day been, Crypto Coffee and Superman? Well, it's been pretty good for me.
It's just ending for me. It's pretty late over here.
Yeah, it's getting pretty late, right? Almost. What time is it? Almost midnight? Is it or past midnight?
Yeah, it's about 11:30 p.m.
11:30. Yeah. Well, we'll wrap it up shortly anyway, in probably another 5 minutes or so. Let you get your sleep. he always looks young anyway, so I don't know if sleep matters. But
over.
Yeah. Anita says, I mean, turning RH Final Judgment into an NFT just for keepsake. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. Maybe someone will pick that up. I remember there's the NFT created Diamond Hex. Have you seen that one around? Diamond Hex with the diamonds, Hex diamonds.
No, I have not seen that NFT. That's a meme coin though. There's a meme coin called DMMD.
He did. I think he made that afterwards though. But his NFTs were actually pretty early. I think it was the first one using 1155 contracts for that.
Okay.
And so it had a lot more detail and pixel depth and stuff like that. It's kind of next level stuff. We got a Goody says, what do you think, the guys, of the P-Die narrative? Yeah, what's your view on that? with all that drama lately.
Well, yeah. You guys might not like to hear this, but
No,
I'm
go for it.
completely over it. I think
Yeah.
at this point it's pretty inevitable that it was massively extractive, a lot of false truths and lies, and people actually that I think believed in. I mean, I think that even the people with good intentions kind of lied to themselves in terms of Richard not, not actually being behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd think it'd be cool if we could all move on. I know a lot of people still have a big bag, and hopefully, if you do have a big bag still, you can find a way to roll it into something else. But last I heard, some chick was extracting and dumping even more and moving to another chain, and it's just like every time I hear about it, I get less and less enthusiastic. Like I'm just so exhausted with the smoke and mirrors and the vague cryptic messages when really I would just say be careful reading into finding meaning when there's not actually any meaning there. Like be careful
Yeah.
connecting dots that aren't actually there.
Yeah, yeah, and like you say, I mean, there's a lot of good opportunities on Pulse Chain, and maybe people can consider some other options in terms of trying to create value for themselves. We got Akon in the house says we really think this chain actually does anything more than hit sack and dump. I mean, I've held since sack, and it's been nothing but a failure. You got any views on that? Because obviously you said a lot of people are feeling that way, right?
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, we went past sack rate about March of last year. So 1 year ago, we blew past the sack rate. Not for very long, but
Yeah.
you got to factor in the fact that we've kind of almost been in a bear this whole time. Yes, Bitcoin is up 5x off the low, but that happened on institutional money, and that happened before the halvening. This time is different. This cycle really is like hard mode. So I think we can still go past it. I think we can go 10, 20, 30x past it. I really do. But I understand like getting beaten down so much, and especially if it's your first crypto cycle, you don't understand how quickly sentiment can change. You might not know the euphoria feeling that is possible. But I'm still holding out for something pretty good, whether it's 2025 or even early into 2026.
Yeah.
We get what we get, but we do whatever we can along the way to try to make it happen.
Well, I have to give you a magical twinkle for that because so there we go.
The heck was that?
That's a magical twinkle. We like to mix it up around here on the show.
All right.
We got Phoenix in the house there. What do you guys think of the dev of pump tires? Bretep said he wasn't behind it and didn't know who made it.
Yeah, it's probably a dev that Richard Hart kind of either employed or, I mean, it does seem like it was kind of designed by Richard with the fact of like the PLS burning.
Yeah.
But we know Richard's not a developer, so it wasn't him that actually wrote the code most likely. I think it doesn't really matter. He probably doesn't want people to know who specifically it was. So no point in sitting around speculating. Like, it's out, it works. I don't necessarily care if it was Richard or Brett or Three Commas Capital or somebody else.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. Now I had a little post I put out about Pump Fund. You know Pump Fund. It generated $294 million in fees, surpassing Ethereum's 249,000. So that just shows you some of the stuff happening on some of these platforms on Pump Fund. So I thought it was pretty crazy. We got Onizuka said, made a picture of Richard Hart, mixologist, and crypto copy.
I remember you now.
Yeah. Celebrating
I like your art.
Cinco de Mayo. Yeah.
You don't celebrate Cinco de Mayo over there, do you?
No.
And I don't think anybody does, not even the Mexicans.
No, really? Okay.
Yeah, like the Americans use it as a drinking holiday, and it's like Mexican Independence Day.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of. Well, we probably got more now. We don't have a lot of influence from Latin American cultures or South American cultures, but we're starting to get a bit now, I think. We got Ultra Bullish in the house there. PDI was fun while it lasted. Hex D-Hex says, "What's up, Hexkins, Pulsexkins? Good shout out." And AQ says, we've passed SAC 2 or 3 times, I think, says AQ there.
Yeah, like once in the beginning, once in March, maybe 2 times.
Yeah.
But
So, but
go ahead.
What's that? Sorry, copy. What was that?
Oh, I'm actually just pulling up the chart now to see. I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we spent a good couple months in 2024 over the SAC price. We went up to about double. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
No, and hopefully we'll be getting back real soon. So pack your bags, everybody, and get on the train.
Past is behind us, you know. Brighter days. It's not like the SEC can sue us again. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood, yeah. Mr. Onazuka says it's not Mexican Independence Day, lol.
Or whatever it is. Sorry. I'm
the 16th.
What is Cinco de Mayo?
Cinco de Mayo. It's some sort of Mexican party, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I say, we don't really have it. I just remember it faintly that people were talking about it back a while ago. I can't remember. It must have been September, was it?
Celebrate Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire in the Battle of Puebla in 1862. Wow. So it's just to remember a battle. Interesting. And
it's like what's the famous one? The OK Corral one, was it? Or the Mexican? What was the Californian versus the Mexican army or something? What was that one? Okay, where they all got pretty wiped out. Some famous Americans there. Yeah. Was that OK Corral or something? I can't remember.
Don't know.
Could be wrong with that. Hey, look, I know it's getting late there, Coffee, and man, we appreciate you jumping in here. It's been pretty awesome. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. I love your stuff.
Thank you.
You're doing incredible stuff. We're looking forward to what you're going to do in this cycle ahead of us. And now that Richard Hart's coming out as well, it'll be great to see your reactions to some of the stuff he's going to be doing moving forward. Going to be pretty cool. Yeah, Ultra Bullish said Alamo. Yeah, the Alamo. Yeah, it's a great movie, by the way.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. I think you said it. Yeah. So there we go. That's the way it goes. Now, I just wanted to share your socials and all that sort of stuff. So if you haven't seen Crypto Coffee, obviously most of you probably have. But if you haven't, there is Crypto Coffee there. I'm going to post it in the chat there. Definitely give him a follow. And like I say, is just an incredible Pulse Chain influencer. Does amazing stuff there. So check that out. Always doing a beautiful show. So that is the one there. And of course on YouTube as well. You can check him out on YouTube. And give Coffee a follow if you haven't already, and get onto it. So let me just pump that back there. There we go. That is the YouTube right there right now. All right, so hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Coffee, you get off the show just before midnight.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on, and thanks to you for great show you got here. Everybody go smash the likes, subscribe.
Appreciate that. Awesome, and thanks very much, and look forward to seeing you again sometime, Coffee, and let's enjoy this bull market together. I think we've had the pain, and now it's time for the gain. All right, thank you, everybody. Final words, Coffee. Go for it.
Oh, no, I don't like and subscribe. What are you...
All right, let's go.
God damn.
Let's get it out there. All right, bye for now. See you guys. Take care.